Hey, what's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. And on this edition, we're going to be talking a little bit about the Saints injury report and getting you all up to date on some of the key injuries that the Saints are still dealing with going into their season opening game against the Green Bay Packers. Now, if you have not heard, Traquan Smith, wide receiver, and Ken Crawley, cornerback, did not practice today for the New Orleans Saints. And Marshawn Lattimore, the number one cornerback for the New Orleans Saints, is dealing with a knee injury, so he was limited in practice. So going into the season, these are some things that you do not want to hear, especially Marshawn Lattimore, dealing with an injury. We all know what Marshawn Lattimore is to the New Orleans Saints. We know he is the undisputed number one cornerback for the New Orleans Saints, so definitely need him on the field. Ken Crawley has been dealing with some injuries for the last couple of weeks, so it's not too much of a surprise to me that he has not practiced, especially looking at some of the reports. So it looks like rookie Paulson Adebo is most likely going to be starting opposite of Marshawn Lattimore on Sunday against the Green Bay Packers. And, everything that I've seen out of Paulson Adebo tells me that he's ready. The lights aren't going to be too bright for him, and he is a guy that is going to be up to the challenge. And he's going to have to be up to the challenge because he is definitely going to be picked on. If I'm Aaron Rodgers and I'm looking around the field and I'm looking at who I want to go and attack, I'm definitely going to attack an inexperienced guy who hasn't hit the field yet and is going into his first regular season game. So Paulson Adebo is definitely going to have to be ready because the Green Bay Packers are loaded at the wide receiver position. They have a lot of talent out there on the field, and we know Aaron Rodgers is a magician with that football, so he can put it in tight spaces. So if you're not in the right position, you are susceptible to get beat. But I do think that Paulson Adebo is going to be formidable out there. I have a lot of confidence in the guy. You're probably going to have some guys rotating with him, like Desmond Trufant. He's probably going to play a little bit of the outside as well as the inside. And you also have PJ Williams, who is probably going to be playing a little bit of outside and inside too. Now, I understand that's probably not what some Saints fans want to hear, especially PJ Williams being on the outside. But when it comes to understanding the defense, understanding the defense, PJ Williams knows the Saints defense like the back of his hand. And I think that the Saints are going to be using him, probably a little bit in spurts on the outside, but the majority of it is going to be with Paulson Adebo. Traquan Smith being injured for the last couple of weeks is extremely alarming. We were all interested to see what Traquan Smith can do now that Jameis Winston is the quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. Like, we seen him working out in the offseason with Jameis flying him out, allowing him to stay in his home in order for them to get to work in. So I was interested to see the type of chemistry he and Jameis Winston have. Now, we've seen Marquez Callaway, the chemistry he has with Jameis for being out there working with Jameis in the offseason, and also Tony Jones being out there as well. We see him as the number 2 running back to Alvin Kamara. But Traquan Smith is so important to the Saints offense. He's a really good wide receiver, but he's also really good as a blocker on the outside. So this is something that the Saints are really going to have to accommodate for, because Traquan Smith, to me, is one of the best receivers on the Saints team. He's a guy that has a lot of speed. He's a good possession receiver. And once again, I mean, when you're going, for those halfback toss and those stretch plays, it's good to have a guy like Traquan Smith on the outside to be able to block so that Alvin Kamara can find that seam and that lane to go through to get some extra yardage. So I don't know if he's going to play. It's a little bit too late in a week for, a guy to be missing practice like this. If I was a betting man, I would say that Traquan Smith most likely is not going to play. So that's going to lead to other guys stepping up. You're going to need guys, like Marquez Callaway, who's probably going to be that number 1. So he's going to be that guy that Jair Alexander is probably going to be on. You're going to need a guy like Lil Jordan Humphries to step up, and you're definitely going to have to look for some contributions from the tight end position. Adam Troutman, also Juwan Johnson, who had a really good preseason. But there's some guys out there. You got Deontay Harris, who can fly. I think the Saints are going to line him up in different positions for him to make plays. And you also have Alvin Kamara. So it's not all is lost with the New Orleans Saints if Traquan Smith doesn't play. Probably going to have to change some things up a tad bit. And I can't forget about the Swiss Army knife Taysom Hill actually playing. According to some of the reports that I'm seeing, he was lining up at the tight end position. So look for Taysom Hill to possibly play some tight end in the game against the Green Bay Packers. But I'm interested to see how these guys are going to be able to compensate for some of these injuries. You got guys like Desmond Trufant. Of course, you got him coming in. You got Bradley Roby, who is probably going to be, playing in week 2. He has to deal with a 1-game suspension. So there is help on the way. But you have to make sure that you understand your assignments, and you have to have all hands on deck, especially when you're going up against a future Hall of Fame quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. But I expect the Saints to go out there and put forth a really good effort. I think that they're going to be prepared. I understand that the Saints are going through a little bit of some hardship, with the whole storm and everything like that, being displaced, having to stay out there in Texas, and then have to play a game out there in Jacksonville. But I think the Saints are going to be ready. We all know that the Saints are one of the most prepared teams in the National Football League. They're one of the most well-coached, well-run organizations that you can find in the NFL. And I think that they're going to be ready for the Green Bay Packers. And they're going to need to be, because you have to make sure that you're playing almost mistake-free football against the Green Bay Packers, because what we learned in that first game is that they can capitalize on mistakes. And I don't feel bad about going towards that first game when I'm analyzing this game, because a lot of the faces that are on the Green Bay Packers team that were there last year, the Saints are going to see this year. And you know that they were looking at that film. You know they're going to be trying to find ways to try to neutralize Alvin Kamara. Clark, if I'm not mistaken, did not play in that game. I think that a guy like Clark not playing in the game was huge for the Green Bay Packers, because defensively he is a big guy that is in the middle that can stop up the middle. And Alvin Kamara was able to run wild, run up the middle, and do everything he needed to do because Clark was not in the game. But the New Orleans Saints are going to have a brand new weapon in Jameis Winston. This is not like how it was when, Drew Brees was the quarterback. It's not like that at all. You can sit on the ball. You know what I'm saying? You can play man-to-man coverage. You ain't have to too much worry about passes going over your head. You can try to, bump those receivers and knock them off their routes with the quick slants and the out routes. But Jameis Winston has the ability to throw the ball over your head. Okay, so you have to accommodate for that. And we know that the Green Bay Packers, they are a team, that can be beat. They are a team that can get beat, over the top. We know Kenny King, he's a guy that, has some up and down games last season. Jair Alexander, he's a really good, solid cornerback, but he's not just a shutdown corner like a Jalen Ramsey to me. And they also have Eric Stokes, who they picked up from Georgia. So they have some guys that are out there, but the Saints can make some plays. So there's some ways that the Saints can actually go out there and make some things happen, but they're going to need all hands on deck, and they have to limit the mistakes. But I would love to hear from you. What do you think about the Saints' injury issues? What do you think about Ken Crawley, Traquan Smith, and Marshawn Lattimore, having a limited practice? What do you think about that? And what do you think the keys to victory are for the New Orleans Saints? Comment down below, like and share this video. Thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. And I encourage you to come on over to Packers with Dane and Andrew. I will be the guest on the show. It is a Green Bay Packers podcast. They were nice enough to invite me on the podcast. That's Packers with Dane and Andrew. I'm putting the link down below that you can click on. I'm going to be on there at 8 p.m. Central Time. Okay, so at 8 p.m. Central Time, you can click on the link and you'll be able to see me on the show. I'm asking for the Who Dat Nation to come out and support your boy as he is the special guest on Packers with Dane and Andrew. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go to facebook.com, search The State of the Saints podcast. Previous episodes available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM. We are sponsored by manscaped.com. Use the promo code State of Saints. You will save 20% off of your purchase. Till next time, all I got to say is